Oh, this is. Okay, this is your rector's address for 2022. I realized, talking to Lauren, who came in 1992 and was there the first Sunday she ever came. She was at our annual meeting for 1992. That's 30 years ago. And because of the way the math works, it's my 31st time standing up here and giving this address. So I can't believe that, 31 annual addresses. Well, the COVID years of 2020 and 2021 are over. With the mists clearing and overreach regulations lifting from our lives, leaving us where our certainty has been shaken, our lives conditioned to be fear-driven with suspicious attitudes, and our whole society, not just our church, or even churches in general, seems decimated, dispirited, disrupted, and many entities destroyed around us. The wreckage is everywhere. We continue our lives trying to normalize this new normal. But you can't deny the fact that we aren't living in the same world we had a couple of years ago. Even the fire had less far-reaching effects. I may comfort myself by seeing other churches having it as bad or worse than we, but that's cold comfort when our combined Sunday's attendance comes up to half of what the 1030 used to bring in, even with the Zoom people counted in. Finally, a little relief that our total attendance in 2021 was better than 2020. I must remember we weren't so much shut down last year as we were for the most of 2020. I do ask myself about this. I look around for something broken to fix. We're in a different world, and it would be good for us to notice and describe its features in order to understand and meet what we see. There are trends we can cite that are troubling, common to all churches, but that Anglicans may be particularly hard-pressed to remedy. One, the old model doesn't draw people anymore. We started the APCK with the motto, 1928, traditional Episcopal worship, or Anglican worship. And we could expect 40 years ago that some people in our city would know what that meant and that even appreciate its value. Now, if you don't already come here, you have no idea what the prayer book is or matters, or even if it's a good thing. Two, Sunday-only services limit participation. I've known for years that a church with only 1 or 2 hours of open doors a week cannot be a viable model, like a McDonald's only open 2 hours a week. Imagine that. But what does it mean to say we're open? Our office hours are posted, but we're behind a locked door with a bell, and there's no way to change that. It's sort of like Tiffany's Jewelers. You ever go to Tiffany's in the city? They got an armed guard and they got a locked door and they let you in. And then they watch you. Different world. Vision that is currently dim will become clearer, but when? I feel blunted by a lack of direction to move, something effective to do, a battle plan, something to push, a task force to organize. I know there will be a battle to wage, to take a stand, but what and where? I pray to know, and I feel assured it will be clearer in the future, that the fog will lift and my whole role finally defined. It's just not clear yet. Attendance is down, you've all seen it, it said so, from 3 years ago and longer, but it has flattened out. Now, will it rise? The challenges of filling the pews hits us less critically than other style churches because their attendance figures every week of life and death to them. But we cannot ignore the fact that less people know about Anglican worship in Chico today than a decade ago. Hybrid Zoom and in-person realities may be permanent with us now. We accommodated COVID by bringing people to church virtually. It was a creative move, and in many ways, the Zoom platform makes meetings far more possible. Our bishops meet monthly now from across the nation, something unheard of 2 years ago. But it's still awkward for the church, our church, with me as my own engineer, my laptop on the altar, I'm relieved sometimes to be able to go back to in-person only worship. Occasionally we do. I wonder if that's ever to return. In-person worship may need to change character. People's expectations are different. We don't flex so well with the Gen X and Gen Z younger people, who are nationally about 30% churchgoers and so far less going in Chico, far less. We're constrained from changing our services by our identity. I mean, how are we going to update our worship? It would be untrue to ourselves and probably unfaithful to God, but our unchanged character reads to this new world as our being stuck in the mud. It's our ID and it's our limitation. The means of access to the public in the last decade has become totally renovated. Newspapers are dead. Print ads, useless. Yellow pages, not worth printing. It's an online world and we are there, but how do people join us there and take notice of our existence? I post our videos of Sunday sung masses, and from 2 to 14 people view them on YouTube. I don't know who they are. They don't identify themselves that way. Online and social media have problems of credibility with people who just lived through the last 5 years. Who do you believe anymore? Are you on Facebook? Or are you in resistance to Google, TikTok, Instagram? Will your Christians only browser reach the lost? Reach anyone? One person receives only voicemail, another only email, another wants text messages, and you want Facebook Messenger? How do you reach people? Membership of our out-of-area viewers need to be served, but how? We now have frequent attendees from Washington, Oklahoma, and Los Llanos, potentially many other places. Are we to keep these or direct them locally to other churches for in-person service? COVID is essentially over. Go to church. I have been asked and refused to send consecrated wafers by US mail. The hybrid style of ministry could define new roles for a ministry, such as Zoom teacher, on-screen personality, podcast author, and YouTube star. Am I comfortable putting out web-based teachings on the faith? Are you committed to watch them, even if I did? We are constantly being entertained. Just look at the kids walking the sidewalks, faces glued to their iPhones. Entertainment is the expectation. But die-hard movies are more entertaining than I am. A great number of formerly churched, but now unchurched people are getting used to staying at home. I know many fine Christians, some have worshiped here, who were key members of churches and now they sit home. They got offended or disconnected and are being Christians at home. It's become a normal mode. But I really want some of these to come here. I know these people, I love them. They love us, but from afar. Thank God the money has held steady, but with such low attendance, that can't continue forever. You saw our budget for the year, that should work. But we have to catch our chances and use strategies from a new place to add life to this congregation, or the money won't last. Online giving is very much up. Looking at options there too. We're thinking about possibly adding or changing to a new company, but we're going to think about it. In light of the terrible surprises that COVID brought upon us, there's no way to predict the next wave of issues. There could be more. Is it back to life as it was? I doubt it. Look at Canada. In all this, I still do believe. St. James says, that's great, but let me see your works too. You show your faith by your works, your actions, your deeds, your manner of life, how you meet the things that are coming. It obliges me to cast a vision, therefore, and yet I don't see exactly where to go or what to tackle. So let's take an assessment. What's going right for us? And seeing what's in our bag of tricks, even if we don't know where we get to next, Perhaps we can be ready and know how much we have to work with. It's time to cast a vision. 1, I live sacrificially, so I am available to you. That's my commitment, one-on-one, or 1-on-20, or 120. 2, I love to teach, so I will field any reasonable subject for a group to learn. 3, I am always growing, so I don't mean there, I just mean I'm expanding this, the coconut. So the things I bring are as good or better than they have ever been. 4, we belong to a great God. So whatever we can't do, he is greater than anything we can do. And he can do the miraculous. He's done it before right here. 5, you are committed to this, and you show it by being here, giving to this sacrificially, loving it. For such people, nothing will be denied. 6, you want truth. So when the truth is given, you receive it. You aren't resistant to light, so let the light shine. 7, you are friendly. So your friends may respond to your invitation to come here. Remember, 75% of church growth comes from invitation by laity to their friends. I haven't seen your friends yet, not all of them. Think of something. You think creatively, so you may come up with a new venue, event, activity that will include others into our family. Finally, 9, God is all, and he loves his church and will be here with us as long as we are with him. So we're still here, and we still love God and each other, so be encouraged. Now, by the numbers, last year we had 120 communion services, attended in person or online by 2,500 souls. That's 200 more than in the previous year, and 50% more communions because we had more in-person attendance. We also had 2 funerals. My outside work as a bishop was changed last April from suffragan to coadjutor, meaning if Bishop Ashman leaves office for any reason, I would automatically become Bishop Ordinary, the head guy for the diocese of the Western states. I also have served 2 years as Episcopal visitor to the Southwestern states, taking me to Phoenix, Tulsa, and Las Vegas a few times a year. It's a blessed duty. I'll be on it next weekend. Your bishops just rescued a church in Portland from a takeover by another jurisdiction. There's work to do there too. I feel very fortunate to have St. Augustine's as my home base in professional life. I know you all well and consider your friendship vital to my life in this fair city. I thank you for another year, for Giti and me to serve you and lead this parish to God's face and to his righteousness. Keep praying for rain. Find your place and take your stand. That's what I must do. God sees. God believes in us still.